hot. Y'all tell me why I asked this girl for weight loss tips, right? She both say, oh, hey guys, inbox me for some weight loss tips, and she lose a lot of weight. Y'all tell me why this girl say, oh, well, I lost weight by getting a gastric sleeve. Y'all inbox me with some tips on how to lose weight, please, because I don't know. Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you have read the title of this video, then you already know we're about to get into some tea. So what I like to tell everybody when they come over here is to sit back, relax, and get comfortable, because we about to get into some business. This is a deep video, so let's get into it. So around the time that I first came out of school, basically the day after I graduated, I had a job interview for a top supermarket. Well, let me not say top, but very popular, large franchise supermarket. And so, you know me, at the time, I just wanted a job. I just wanted a way to make money. You know what I mean? And I was fresh out of school, so, you know, yeah. But shortly after that, I left. It was basically because it was a lot of females at the section where I worked, and normally when it's a lot of females, it's never a good thing. So it was just like a lot of unnecessary drama. You know me, I was new to the work scene, and then I just wasn't interested in all the extra drama, you know? I wanted to come there and just make my money and then go home. And a lot of them just, I feel like they didn't have no lives outside of the job, so they like tried to live their life in the job, or however you know, it may sound crazy, but it was just too much for me. So after that, I left. So after I left, I was jobless for a little while. I was like, you know what, this is a perfect opportunity to become a content creator and just quit my job, basically, to become an influencer too. So I was like, I had this whole idea. I was like, I'm gonna quit my job and I could be an influencer and I could do this and this could be perfect and all that. But what ended up happening to me was I ended up like getting really depressed, because see, I didn't have any income coming in. I wasn't making no money. So I was home all the time. Yeah, I was making content here and there, but I lost motivation. I felt like, okay, I need this, I want that. I want to do content creation, but I need, like, at the time I needed a new phone. I needed certain things, and I felt like me quitting my job, or me not having a job, wouldn't allow me to really fully create content how I wanted. So I had to get a job. I was looking in the newspaper one day and I saw this job opening, and I was like, okay, great. I emailed them, they called me and emailed me back, and not too long after that, I went in for the interview. Everything was pretty good. It was a salesperson position. It didn't seem like creepy or like anything felt off. And then this was my first time as a salesperson, so I was like, just getting into it. And but I liked it. Like it was good. The job description, when he read it to me, it was just basically saying like, yeah, you're gonna be a salesperson, but you have to maintain the floor, and you have to sometimes clean, but I was like, yeah, okay, if I have to maintain the shop, that's like that. Okay, cool. So for the first couple months, it was really good. Like, I made money, I made commission. I also did services like, strip lashes, eyebrow cutting, and little makeup services and stuff like that. It also was a full introduction into me getting into makeup. So, I was on top of things. Everything was going good. Now, after the few months, I would say like 2 months, a month and a half probably, but let's say 2 to 3 months, I started to notice some really funny things. For starters, I was working with this one girl who was in the shop. Okay, basically how our store was that they had a shoe store on the side, and so they had this one particular girl, like when I guess someone would call in or they just needed an extra worker or it was busy, they would call her to come over, but she mainly was in the shoe store. And especially now how I was there, they didn't need her like that anymore because I was there. And so the worker who was working with me, will call her Tanya. was a very, like, I don't want to use ghetto because I don't like to judge people like that, but I guess you could say it like that. And I started to notice, like, she would try to, like, take advantage of me just because A, she knew I was new, and B, she knew I was younger than her. She probably was like 24 to 26. She had children, you know, but you could have tell she was way older than me. And, like, I feel like it bothered me because it's like, you know, I'm new here. You know, I'm young. I'm like the same age as one of your daughters. You should, you know, you should want to, you know, help me out or guide me, or don't be that type of person. But unfortunately, that's just not who she was. So basically, Tanya just was like a lazy person. She would leave the shop. She would say she going on lunch, leave the shop for hours and just leave me there. One, she would always like make excuses and for every single thing, and she just was so lazy to the point that she wanted to, because I was new, it was like everything was thrown on me. That's how I felt. And so she just always rode with it. Like, she never took accountability. She never wanted to do anything. Like, once I got there, she just gave me very lazy vibes. Like, hey, I just passing through. She was always complaining. It always was like a problem with her. The thing that really bothered me though was the owners of the store, who were my bosses. Their names were, we'll call them Mr. and Mrs. Taylor. They were like picky. Like, when Tanya would do things, like Tanya would, let's say, they know Tanya would leave the store when she wasn't supposed to leave the store. And when they come and they catch Tanya, they'd just be like, oh, don't do that or whatever. And then they just would want to talk about it or whatever. But they wouldn't really like go into depth or like pressure or whatever. They'll just talk to her. But when it was me, it's like any little thing that I did, let's say I missed and didn't clean the bathroom, it was like the world was ending. It was like I did something like so extreme, like I burned down the shop or something like that. So it was really like given unfair, and especially it bothered me because I was the one who was doing all the work. Tanya wasn't doing nothing. But anyway, yeah. So fast forward now, we got a new worker. We'll call her Haley. Me and Haley, after she came, not too long after she came, me and her really hit it off. We were really cool. Really was because she was around my age. Like, she was young like me, and then she wasn't like Tanya. She was like me. So I feel like I finally had somebody to like be like me, you know, or somebody who was on my team. Now, with this job, one of the things that they always did, especially after Haley came, they would always try to overwork us. Like, okay, if we came to work 3 minutes late, probably even 2 minutes late, they would have a problem. Oh, why you late? Oh, don't be late again. And man, she always would do stuff like that. She'd be like, oh, why you late? Why this? Why that? And I'd be like, well, you know, it's only like 3 minutes late. I mean, like, you know what I mean? You know? But she would do that to like me and Haley. But Tanya would be coming to work whole half hour, 3-4 hours late because of rain, because it raining. But it was cold. They would just overwork her. But like I was saying, like they would do that to us, and then when it was our time to like clock out, let's say we supposed to get off 8 o'clock, they have us working there. They trying to have you working there until whenever. You sometimes, like when I first came there, they had us working up to a whole hour later, and bear in mind, they don't pay us overtime. So what's going on? It just was a bad experience after a while. Just everybody who worked separate from Haley, everybody who worked just either would take advantage of you, complain for no reason, never really truly try to help you, and it just was like always negative. Like, I felt similar to how I felt working at the food store place I was working prior, but a bit worse because it was like like every single day, at least some days I had off, and then they would overwork us with the schedule. Then later on, they would not be paying us on time or paying us our full money without even giving us an explanation or an excuse. They always was a way, you know. the funny thing was, right, they always would take long to pay us, but if we come to work late or we miss a day or we call in, they would be quick to take the funds out. So that's how I know, or how I feel like they was doing it on purpose. And this wasn't no place that was making like $300 a day. No, they was making like a couple thousand a day. This was like a, really good hair store. Like they were making money. Plus they had their shoe store on the next side. So it was like, pay me on time. I working, you know what I mean? Let's go. Around that time, this was when like the voice notes and stuff would start happening, probably even earlier. The voice notes gradually got worse and worse. I'll let you take a listen, but it was just like over the pettiest things in the world. Things that literally made no sense. They just try to find an issue with or whatever.
Hey, listen, it's really not an option because the buzzer should never have left the shop. It's at a security risk. And so, as relates to the company, that buzzer has to be returned back as soon as possible, which means it should have been returned back this morning. And so, you need to try your best to have that buzzer back inside the store. The buzzer is never supposed to leave the store. And you're putting people at security risk in having the buzzer away from the store. And so, we can't allow that. So, I need you to try your best to get a ride to bring it back right away, please.
Good morning, guys. Just a reminder, I need y'all to do your job. I have adult guys in the purple bottom sitting in the back here. We're jet black, but we have no jet black on the shelf out there. And I'm getting ready to put in an order. And I almost ordered them because I assumed that we are out. And when I look, we have them sitting up in the back there. We can't make money in the back here if stuff's sitting up in the back here. So remember how you make your pay is when customers buy stuff out of the shop. So if there's no stuff in the shop, then I can start paying you like the way y'all stock the shelf. Some weeks I can pay y'all and some weeks I ain't pay y'all. I don't do that to y'all, so stop doing it to me and make sure the stuff is on the shelf. Y'all supposed to do that daily. And I've been telling y'all this before. Now I have to write y'all off. If I come here and I find that y'all not doing your job, then I have to write y'all off because there's no week that I don't pay y'all and I don't do my side. So let's cut this foolishness out, please. Make sure the stuff is on the shelf, please, because we're losing money when customers come in and you don't have it. Customers going someplace else and we're losing customers. I need everybody to step up and do their job. Good day to all. I have some issues and concerns I want to address this morning. And this relates to our work performance. Now that we have a new staff member on board, that means that for now we have more hand on the ground. Now I'm very disappointed that they come this morning and realize that there's so much things that are left undone. Miss Norris have to try and refurbish the cards with earrings, and I find myself stuck in the shelf with certain things that isn't stocked. The shelf isn't properly pulled forward. The refrigerator isn't properly pulled forward. These things are not to be. All right, we bring on another person, not for persons who are here to sit back and relax. Or feel as if now I have time I can be on my phone. Now we're going to reinforce the cell phone rule. No cell phone is allowed while you're at work, please. Please, your cell phone should be stocked away. You can periodically look at it. We don't have a problem with that. But we have a problem with you walking around with your cell phone. We don't pay you to be on Facebook or Instagram or talk about your friends. And second, when a customer comes through the door, as I addressed some of you before on this, the first priority should be the customer. And this is why we bring more persons in on staff.
Well, before I left, we had a lot of people who would be in there frequently, and you could tell that they've been there for years, and they would always see us working, or me especially see me working, or would always say oh, Taylor them don't know how to treat people, Taylor them can't keep nobody because they don't treat people right. And I would listen to them, but I wouldn't ignore it, but I would take it into my mind and be and it was something that you couldn't ignore because a lot of it was it wasn't 1, 2, 3, it was a good amount of them, and you could tell it was common, they was either around the area or they been coming to the store for years. So there was one instance where lady I was doing a service for her, and so she was talking to me. She was yeah girl, because what had happened was Tasha left for lunch and she left me in the store hours on hours, but she just wasn't there. And so it was me one holding it down. I had to cash. So people wanted services, and I just had to do a lot of things and help people throughout the store. So I really was working. So she was yeah, child, I could only imagine. She was I know a girl who was working here, and man, as soon as I told her about this job of winning in Bahama, and she was as soon as I told her that, she quit this job. She was she only was on the job for about 2 months, and she was she couldn't take it. And then also after I left, or after I quit, I had one of the customers' number because they wanted makeup done or something like that. And so they were oh, you left? And I was yeah. because I think I screenshotted like me leaving the group or something I did to show that I left. And they was like, Charles, I've been hearing about them for years now. They was like, my friend, she was working there and she had medical issues and she had to be in the hospital for a bit. And they was like, oh, well, they can't have her there because she, can't work or she can't function or whatever. And I was like, it was just so many allegations and so many things. And it's like, they're horrible people. But the thing that I look at is, in their store, they've been downgrading for a minute now. So you could tell things slowing up in there, nothing really happening. But as I said before, I did quit. I got another job at a way better place. You've probably seen it on my TikTok. Yeah. But yeah, I left. I got another job. I waited this time until I was secure with the next job, and then I started working there, and after that it was sayonara. The funny thing about it was though, when like I let them know that I was no longer working there, I'll show you what I sent them. I sent them a WhatsApp. I cropped something offline and put my name in it and fixed it. I sent it and I blocked every single last one of them and I left the group. Honey, within a couple minutes, they sent me all of my money. So it was like, this is how I know they had the means to be sending our money. They just didn't want to. Or, they just were slacking up on it, which is cool and which is great. But, everything in its time. My take on it is, or my word of advice would be, if you're on any job that you feel like, hey, I'm not comfortable, I'm not happy, this ain't making me feel good or whatever may have you, leave the job. Look for another job. A lot of times in these retail jobs, they want you to do a lot of things, extra things. I remember at this job in particular, they wanted me to I was a janitress, I was a full-time cashier, I was a salesperson, I was a service provider because I used to do makeup and other services. I was a therapist because a lot of people would come in there telling me their problems. I was a lot of things, and it's like, you are doing so many jobs to the point that if you can't complete one, or you having issues with the other one, they always on you hard. But it's like, you don't seeing all the things that I am doing, and then you have people like Sasha who ain't even doing nothing. Sorry, not Sasha. You have people like Tasha who ain't even doing nothing. So it's like, on top of that, they wanted we had to be lifting heavy boxes. When shipment come, a lot of times, let's say we close for 8 o'clock, they telling us, oh, wait, don't close the shop because the shipment truck come in and it's already 7:45 and the shipment truck don't come until 8:30. And it was just like, I remember one of my breaking points was when they said, oh, well, don't close, even if we're closed and a customer comes to the door, you still serve them. So it's like, no matter, let's say the thing is, right, when you do that, once one person, that person in the shop, they can say, yeah, I just running to get something quick, but they really can start looking around and taking their time. Then once they do that and someone else see the shop open, another person can come in because they see that the store is open, and it's just going to be a continued cycle and you never are going to be able to go home if you have that mentality. Me personally, after I feel like they started to try to conk me, they had me and Haley on this shift, and whenever they put me and Haley together, which was frequently, we used to close that shop on time. And that was the ending of me working there, because y'all ain't finna play with us. You know what I mean? Y'all, as people who own in businesses, you're never gonna keep good workers if you overworking people. And how I know that they knew I was a good worker was because they would put me first in everything. And it was like, yeah, y'all know my quality, y'all know my value, but yet y'all don't want to treat me like how I'm supposed to be treated, So that just was my story, basically on my time working at this horrible place. And if you know where I used to work and you probably walking in and you see me or whatever where I used to work, then yeah, that's what it is. But I try to keep everything concealed because I don't need nobody trying to sue me. That's why in my videos I don't disclose the exact information, just because for privacy reasons, and then also for legal reasons, because people will try to sue you for defamation even though it is true, and I just don't want no drama. But yes, that is my story. Let me know what other video ideas you guys are interested in seeing me do. And that is all. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, click the notification bell so you can get notifications every single time I drop a new video. All right, see y'all later.